Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle and I'm currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In a previous episode, I talked about a revelation that I got from one of my dreams in August. And in this episode, I'm just going to wrap up the month of November and also get into the month of December 2022. So here it goes. So at the end of November, y'all, I pretty much was just so worked up about my situation concerning the rental assistance. I didn't hear back from anyone from the program. And at this point, I'm just like so nervous. The thought of me actually getting evicted, I made a decision at this point that I wasn't going to leave my apartment because I'm like, okay, God can do a 24-hour turnaround. So I'm not going to leave my apartment. God can perform a miracle. So I decided to stay. Also, too, y'all, I was so worked up concerning the Brandon situation. That really bothered me a lot, y'all. I would say the second half of 2022, but really March 2022 and the rest of the year, I was just so bothered by what I was seeing on social media, the knowledge I was getting. I was really so caught up with the whole Brandon situation to the point where I was breaking down crying in November. Like November 29, I was just crying over Brandon. And I was just telling myself, like, I just have to endure all that I'm going through. So that was pretty much it. My finances at this point, it's on the decline. I'm just like holding on to whatever my mom's sending my way. I'm also looking for jobs at London. I'm not hearing back from anyone. And at this point, I wasn't even paying any of my payment arrangements with the debt collector. So that was happening. I was also getting mails about other debt as well that I had to rectify unless I was going to be taken to court. So that was what was going on in the month of November 2022. So I'm going to talk about December 2022. Excuse me if I sound nasally, but kind of have allergies at the moment. So December 1st, 2022, rent is due. And I didn't have anything to put down towards my rent. I didn't have anything to put down towards my rent. So I decided to pray from the 1st to the 4th. December 5th, I fasted, I prayed, and I got a 30-day eviction email from my apartment complex. And at this time, I owed my apartment complex $2,693.15. So in the 30-day eviction email, they said I had to leave by, I think it was January 4th. Let me check. So yes, January 4th, 2023 was what was stated on the email for me to leave. So I'm like, okay, so do I have more time? Because the first email said I had to leave December 7th, 2022. Now the second email said I had to leave January 4th, 2023. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stay to the 4th. Hopefully something could happen before then. So that was what I decided to do. The next day, December 6th, I decided to just pray about my situation and just hope that God would intervene. So the 7th, which was the day after, I left the house, went grocery shopping, came back home. I was cooking, and the next thing you know, y'all, I got a knock on the door. And I'm looking like, who is it? And I hear like county sheriff or something like that. So I open the door. It's a woman. She's like, Adrielle Thomas? I'm like, yes. She hands me these papers, y'all. Hidden Valley was taking me to court. Yep. Hidden Valley was taking me to court because of unpaid rent. I was like, oh, man. So I had up until the 14th to answer. I was just so devastated, y'all, because I didn't want it to get to that point. And I was just so devastated. I remember being on my couch. I was on my couch, and my church at the time, they had this like worship night going on. So I'm just listening to the praise and worship, and I'm just bawling on my couch. I am just crying. I'm like, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this? Why? And I just became super anxious about everything. I called the rental assistance program. I told them about my issue. I'm like, hey, I've been trying to contact someone from the program since October. And they asked me, are you on the escalation list? I'm like, what's that? They said, well, people who are going through eviction, we're placing them on an escalation list. I was never made aware about this list. So they're like, okay, I'll put your name on the list. I'm like, well, how soon could I get my situation rectified? They said, well, it's first come, first serve. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So also too, they let me know that the people who were working at the rental assistance program, they were actually volunteering. So they had lost a lot of volunteers because they went off and did their own thing. So not that many people were working in the program. And also at this time, they had ended all rental assistance for the state of Georgia with this program. So I'm like, y'all, please get back to me because I'm facing eviction. So they placed me on the escalation list. And I remember just franticking, looking for rental assistance programs in the perimeter area and trying to set up appointments and stuff like that. Also, too, I reached out to Milan. Milan is someone who shared her testimony on YouTube of how God moved her to Atlanta and told her not to work, not to ask anyone for money. So I reached out to her, asking her for advice. I've also reached out to her one time in 2020, November 2020 to be exact, because she had went through the whole situation of her not having money for rent. So I did reach out to her back then for some advice. So I reached out to her again on this day, and she just pretty much encouraged me and just told me to trust and obey God. Wherever he's doing in your life, just be obedient. It may not make sense, but God knows what he's doing. So she just pretty much encouraged me. And I was just crying on my couch, y'all. I just cried on my couch and listened to the sermon for the worship night. So that was pretty much what happened. December 8th, I was just trying to be hopeful about a turnaround in my situation. December 9th, that was a Friday. I called the courts to ask questions about the process. Later on at night, y'all, I was in my room, laying on my carpet floor, crying. Just crying. Why am I going through this? This is so hard. Why am I going through this? And just pretty much just crying. December 12th, I decided I wasn't going to leave my apartment, just stay in. And so December 13th, I reached out to the rental assistance program again. They told me I need to upload my eviction notice. I need to call legal aid. I need to do a whole bunch of stuff. I was told by legal aid that my case will be most likely dealt with in January and that I need to answer the summons, and they are not allowed to kick me out before my court appearance. So I did not want to go to the courthouse, so I decided to ask Esther at this point. Now, something I do want to mention, it's important for the story. At this time, Esther's roommate moved out of their apartment. So Esther had her 2-bedroom apartment by herself. It's important I talk about that because it comes up later on in the story. So I went to Esther and I asked if I could come over so that I can respond online and she could borrow me $24, y'all, because I didn't have the money. If she could borrow me $24 just so that I can answer my summons, basically. So that was what happened. So December 14, I'm having devotion and I'm reading Revelation 2 verse 8 to 10, and I'm thinking about that whole scripture where it talks about how Satan is going to throw some of God's children into prison for 10 days to test them. So I'm thinking Lord, is this the 10 days? Because I don't know what I'm going through. I don't know what's happening. So just that thought came into my mind. Now, also on December 14th, I had a dream. And I'm going to talk about the dreams and all the other stuff I went through in the month of December next episode. So if you're liking or like this story, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please also share my videos as well. And until next time, bye.